When looking at Shopify Metafields versus Metaobjects, at times it can be a little bit confusing what the differences are between the two of them, when to use Metafields versus when to use Metaobjects. So I wanted to make this video to kind of break it down along with this chart here, that I actually use this chart to kind of break down the differences between them. So that way it can help provide more of a visual and make it simple to understand the differences. So let's look at the differences between Metafields and Metaobjects. Metafields, the nice thing about Shopify Metafields is that you can attach that data to existing Shopify objects. So objects are like products, collections, customers, anything of that nature. And then with Meta Objects, what you're doing is you're not necessarily attaching this data to an existing Shopify object, but you're creating a custom or a new data structure that's almost like a little database that you can use throughout the whole Shopify website in different parts. So let's use the examples. I think the examples will make it a little bit more life to see exactly how you can use how you can use them to kind of show the differences. So when you're looking at Metafields, for instance, if for instance you are selling like a product, right, and you have, let's say you sell food, and each food has different ingredients. So let's say you have foods that some foods have sugar, some foods don't have sugar, and then you can attach a metafield to the products that have sugar, right? Maybe you can add a little note in the description saying this product contains sugar, something simple like that. That's how a metafield could be used. Or for instance, maybe you have a certain product that goes well with another certain product, right? And then you could add a meta field to that product to say, okay, this product goes well with this product here. Um, or the third example here, let's say you sell iPhone cases, and you want to add a meta field to show the tech specs of the different iPhone cases. Maybe this iPhone case is waterproof. This iPhone case is maybe sweat resistant. So if you're using it to, like, you're an athlete and you work out, you can add a meta field to the products that are sweat resistant versus the products that are waterproof, and then you could add that information under those specific products. So I hope that kind of gave a visual of how it could be used. So again, you're adding specific data or custom data to things that already exist, like products in this case that we use. And then of course you can see how they can be used with customers, with collections. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use metafields, but essentially you just think of it like this: is you can add this data to specific items, like the iPhone example that we just brought out, or like the products that the foods that have sugar versus the ones that don't have sugar, and these can be tied to any individual single item that you have selling on your storefront. With meta objects, it's a little different. Meta fields are attached to one specific item. Meta objects can be used for different items. So let's say, and I've done this in the past, that you are selling clothing items and you want to add these side charts or these size guides, but you don't want to add it to one specific product. You want to add it to maybe collecting. So let's say you sell men's clothing, women's clothing, but you want to add a generic size guide to all the different men's clothing. Maybe a generic size guide about the neck size and the arm size and things of that nature. You could use a meta object to assign this size guides to the men's product category as a whole. So instead of going through and attaching it to each specific men's product individually, you could attach it to the whole category overall. Maybe you want to even attach it to different collections inside of men's. So maybe you have like men's shirts, men's dress shirts, men's hoodies, but you want to assign a size guides to each specific collection, and you want it to be the same generic size guides. You could use meta object in that instance as well. Another good example of this is like FAQs. So if people have frequently asked questions, you could use a meta object to include that on your Shopify website in different spots. So instead of having them just on one page here, maybe you want to add these frequently asked questions under each product page on your Shopify website. You could use meta objects to do so. So these meta objects, they're not just like simple single text fields or a single image. It's like a database that can hold a lot of different information, especially if you want to add it on multiple different aspects of your Shopify store. And I thought this was a good example as well. So let's say you're talking about like a meet the team, right? So you want customers to get a little more information about the business, and you wanted to learn more about the team. You could use Metaobjects to have um, each individual team show their information, right? So instead of, again, a single line or a single field, you could use a meta object to show each team member's information on the page. And then when a team member's information is updated, so let's say their title at the company changes, maybe they're changed from graphic designer to UX designer. When you change that information, it's going to automatically update on the about page. And so that's how these meta objects are useful, because it holds all this information, dynamically updates, and then can be updated throughout the whole website. Now, going back to the size guide example as well, let's say you have a size guide that's showing on multiple collections, right? But then in this size guide, let's say it's an image, but then you notice that there's a typo on the image, so you have to go into Canva or Figma or Illustrator or Photoshop, wherever you made the size guides. You update the text, the typo. You update the typo. You re-download the image, and then you update it in Shopify. The nice thing is it dynamically updates across the whole website, so you're not going to have to go like Metafields where you'd have to go to each specific one and update it. It's going to update across the entire website at one time. And so those are the two different use cases between Metafields, Meta Objects, how they can be used. I know it can be a little bit complicated, so I wanted to hopefully break it down in a simple way like this, so that way you can see the differences between the two. Now, if you're having trouble setting something like this up on your Shopify website, you have some additional questions about how it can be implemented in your storefront specifically, or if you would like to implement it on your storefront, please feel free to reach out. All our information is down below, our email, our website. Feel free to take a look through the website and see what it is that we can do for you. And again, I think it could be very helpful. If you have any questions, even if you don't necessarily want to move forward, but you just have any questions, you have questions about what it is that you're looking to do, please feel free to reach out. And I'll be more than happy to see how Metafields, Meta Objects, how they can be implemented in your store in the simplest way. But once again, I do hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.